Sweet. Kia ora, koutou katoa. I'm Tupuria King, and this is Kevin Ceran-Jerusalemy, world champion, a master in the sport of wakaama, and we're here to dive deep into the mind of Kevin, kind of try and tap into some of that knowledge, that unheard knowledge of Kevin. He's been a massive influence, not just on Tahitian paddling, but paddling around the world. So it would be cool to, I don't know if anyone's had an interview this deep before, in a setting like this before, eh?
No,
what do you reckon?
first time.
So I'm pretty excited to dive in, and we're gonna go all over the place. This is our first time doing this, so yeah, welcome Kevin to,
Thank you.
not my studio, but a very beautiful studio.
Yes, beautiful your studio, bro.
Thank you. So got a few questions here, but we're gonna go in any direction. Gonna go where the waves take us. So first question though, Kevin, is how did you first start paddling?
I started paddling with my dad when I was 8 years old, but it's hard for me to start at 8 because I was younger, and then that's time I prefer to be with my friend, with my cousin, and play ball. And then my dad say me, no, go on the water, go on your canoe, and then training hard. I started training hard when I was younger, and then I think that's why I'm here now.
I've heard stories of your dad and your training young, before school, after school.
Yeah.
What age do you think, like, was it quite, were you 8 or 9 when you were doing really long distance already at that age, or what age do you think you started to do the 2 hour
when I
paddles?
was 8, I just starting paddling with my dad, so only the bicycle technique. So how do you go left or right? But I really start paddling and racing at 12.
True, 12.
So that was my first 8 at 12, and then I was the last of the race.
True.
On the junior division.
Wow.
And when I finished the race, the podium ceremony is done. And then nobody on the beach. So yes, I was like, what?
Next year I'm
coming back. So next year I was coming back, but I not finished the race, and then my dad's going crazy, and then he trained me hard again.
That's really interesting, because you have won a junior TI tour, and while we're on that topic, how long do you think it took between, say, coming last to winning your first?
When I finished last, I was 11 maybe, and then when I won the first tour, I was 17.
17?
Yeah.
Junior. Cool. Yeah. Next question, just for the audiences watching. Can you name a few of the biggest titles you've won over the years? Name a few of the most prestigious races that you've won.
The race?
Like TI Tour for sure.
Yes, TI Tour, but I think I don't say Taito because I won 5 times. I think it's the Super Taito. I have only one only one time I won the Super Taito, and it was hard for me to win that. And when I finished the Super Taito this year, I was tired. I was like, oh, almost die.
What is it about the Super Aito compared to the Te Aito? Because you win the Te Aito 5 times, which is, there's only one other person to do that, yeah? Or
Yeah, maybe Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis.
Lewis and Steve almost.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, Steve too.
Why would you say you can win the Te Aito versus the Super Aito? Is it because the Te Aito is the same every year and the Super Aito change, or?
I don't know. I think on the Te Aito and Super Aito, I'm ready. I was ready for the 2, but I think I have a bad luck on the Super Aito. I don't know why.
I know for sure that although you've only won 1 Super Aito, I know a lot of Super Aito you were really close. Always, sometimes you were in front, you know, and then people come back towards the end. But that. What about in terms of, so that's W1 Va'a single craft, but a lot of people don't necessarily know your history in the V6. So you're, not only have you won the Molokai, you've won the Hawaii Nui multiple times, the Tahiti Nui.
I think I won all the race on the V6 race.
Pretty much all of the 6-man races.
Even
Who was the team that you spent the most time with? With the open division? Shell. Here's an interesting fact that I know. Kevin has spent, and a lot of people know that Kevin has spent a lot of time with Shell Va'a. But prior to Shell Va'a, a lot of people won't know this. Who was your team before Shell Va'a?
EDT. Yeah,
EDT.
I was with EDT.
Yeah. And who did you paddle next to? Because you were 3, seat 3. Who was seat 4?
No, seat 3.
And who sit in 4 there?
Steve Teixotata.
So a lot of people actually don't know that, because
and we won the Hawaii Nui on the 2012.
And the Tahiti Nui too.
Yeah, and the Tahiti Nui too.
So a lot of people don't know this. This is like kind of inside knowledge, is that like normally when you think about Shell, you associate Shell, well I did anyway, with Kevin was in Shell, and then Steve Teotata was in EDT Va'a. But at one point in time, both Kevin and Steve were in the same Va'a. And I think maybe you were juniors.
Yeah, I was juniors.
Yeah.
I was 18. No. 18?
Yeah.
18.
Yeah, so juniors paddling in the open division. And then, you know, it was pretty cool because you obviously broke into 2 separate teams, but continued to push the level of Va'a in the W1s, you know, in the V1. So, yeah, that's a bit of knowledge that, you know, you heard it here first if you didn't know. So, next question. Here's a question that a lot of people would like to know. And yeah, I've got kind of a backup question for this, but what is your training regimen or your training program like?
Well, if I have a objective like Te Aito, I try to train 2 months before. It's like 3 times a day. In the morning, I do some running or bicycle on the mountain, maybe 45 minutes and 1 hour, but hard.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoon at 12, I go V1. I put some weight on of my canoe, and then I go for 1 hour, and then I come back home, eat, and then I go again at 4 p.m. for 1 hour or 2 hour again
Yeah.
on the V1.
So we
3 times a day. If I can go more, I would go more. That's the secret.
So
You
for
have to
anyone,
training hard.
yeah. But if you want to get training programs specifically designed by Kevin and myself, we have a program that's available online. So feel free to check that out. It has a few more details. But obviously, my follow-up question for that is, compared to, so now sometimes we don't always, I guess, you work, and have a job and you're training around work, and what was it like with Shalva? Because a lot of people always say you're paid to paddle in Tahiti in these top teams, but give us a little bit of inside what the schedule was like.
When I was with Shell, we have a work, a job, and we have the training. So on the week we have 5-day work, but 7-day training. It's like every morning, every afternoon, every day training.
Lunchtime.
And then we start work at 8 and finish work at 3 p.m. and then go training. Every
Pretty
day.
much every day from January.
Yeah.
All the way to the Hawaii Kinui.
All the way to the Hawaii Kinui, and after Hawaii Kinui, holiday for the paddler.
I still remember the first time I come to Tahiti. The first time I went to Tahiti was 2013 with a 6-man team, and we took our New Zealand team, and first time racing in Tahiti was
at the Tahiti Nui?
Tahiti Nui. Was a big eye opener to the level. And then I remember going back home to New Zealand, and then my dad asked me, because I think my sister already done the TI tour in 2009. My dad asked me, "Hey, you want to go back for the TI tour?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And that was my first time coming to Tahiti. Stayed at Apoto, and I remember the first time I met Kevin. He didn't really know me back then, and I was a bit more of a fanboy back then. But I remember because Kevin brought along his you brought your GoPro footage.
Yeah, I gave you the video.
Or USB with some paddling videos and his like secret downwind GoPro footage. So I remember putting that in my computer and studying all the videos and that.
Watch the video every day.
Learn the secret. For me, 2013 was the start of my journey, and man, I probably wouldn't be here with Train Like a King if it wasn't for Tahiti and a lot of the experiences I got from there. So Tahiti is definitely the motherland of Va'a. Like if you want to learn, Tahiti is the place to go. I recommend it. You don't even have to take a coaching clinic. You can just go paddle at 11 o'clock or 4 p.m. or whenever, and there'll be enough paddlers there to run a race pretty much. So you're there, you're competing with naturally with the best paddlers in the world. So next question. Let's ask ChatGPT what the next question is. what 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 are some of the biggest some of the biggest challenges that you've faced in paddling? It's hard to picture you having challenge though, because you take everything so like you have a relaxed approach to everything. Let's take it another step. What's your strategy for paddling when paddling?
If I'm ready, because now I'm not ready. If I'm ready for a race, my strategy it's not depend the race. If the long distance race, I try to start on the top 10, and then try to find my feeling, my good feeling, and then when I feel I'm good and I can go on the first place and keep the first place to the end.
Yeah,
I go for that.
I noticed that too, because obviously
I don't like go fast at the start, because sounds all the time when I go fast at the start, I was like, oh, what I have to do after, you know?
Yeah.
But if I see some paddler in the front, I work to catch them and then try to keep the speed when I catch them in the front. Yeah.
That's a good topic, because I personally, from 2013, I pretty much came every single year for the Te Aito, so I always watched. And the interesting thing about you was you didn't always win the races just before the Te Aito, and like you said, now using those races before the Te Aito as like a gauge to kind of assess all of the other paddlers, see what level you're at, and then what level you kind of need to be without showing all of your secrets, Describe to me because I'm always trying to learn this too, because for you, when you feel ready, it's always when you have good feeling.
Yeah.
Like you have good feeling. What is feeling? Like every Tahitian says feeling, good feeling. What to you? What is
my feeling?
Yeah.
My feeling, it's like when I paddle, I never tired. I can push and then go paddle slow, paddle hard, but I always go speed, but no tired.
Yeah.
Sometimes when if I don't have the good feeling, I feel I'm tired, but I remember a lot of race when I do before. But when I find the good feeling, it's different. It's difficult to explain, but you have to feel that.
Because there's a lot of paddlers in Tahiti who are, everyone, and especially, let's say, the top 50 in the Te Aito in Tahiti is very fast, especially compared to the rest of the world. And I want to look at, say, the top 10. There's always paddlers who are maybe even in the top 5. In your opinion, what do you think is maybe the biggest mistake they make on the day of the Te Aito? They almost there, 3rd, 2nd, 4th, 5th, but not quite, because coming from someone
the stress, I think because the Te Aito, all the champs is here, and then I don't know. I never feel that.
Must be nice. Okay. Um, ooh, a lot of these questions are pretty similar. So let's see. Might delve into just a little bit of technical analysis, maybe like a little bit of technique people want to understand. A common topic we always talk about is V6 versus V1. What's the main difference between V6 and V1, whether it's training or paddling?
The V6 you have 6 people, and the V1 you have 1 person.
There you go.
For me, the difference of the V6 and the V1, the V6 you have to work with your team. You have to work. You have to you have to paddle at the same time. You have to focus on the same goal. And then on the stroke too, it's not the same on the V1 and the V6. I think for me the V6 is you need to put more power and more stronger on your stroke, even than the V1. The V1 you just have to be smooth, more relaxed, and then it's more light when you paddle. Don't need to use your body. Sometime I think on the headwind when you need some punch, I use my body, but I always use only my arm and arm.
How important would you say is being strong, like, or not necessarily strong, but big, like big muscle in the canoe? How important is that?
Depend how you use your muscle. If you use your big muscle on the good thing, it's good. But if you use and then you do nothing on the canoe.
So here's a good segue: is what does it take to make a good team? Because now you're no longer with Shelva'a. You've moved home to your home island in Huahine, which there's obviously not as many paddlers there, and you started your own club, your own team, Huahine Tronde.
Huahine D32.
D32. And hey, your team is pretty new. Like, what did you do to get them to? Just for context, Kevin moved back to Huahine, started a team in Huahine with pretty relatively new guys, and for the last couple of years has finished in the top 10, top 5, or
top 10.
Yeah, top 10 Hawaii Kinui, and definitely on certain days finished in the top 5, which is against the likes of Shelva'a, EDT, and these top teams. It's pretty good. So how did you do that, and what did you focus on with your team?
For me, when I take my team, it was easier because they want to learn first. I don't have star like no, I don't want do that. No, I want to. It's all. Everybody want to learn, and it was easy for me to teach them because normally on my team maybe have only three paddler, real paddler, and then the other they first sport play soccer.
True, yeah.
Yeah. And then I just take them and then I put on the V6. they already have the cardio.
Mm-hmm.
I just teach the technique and how to paddle on the V6. And then 1 year, the 2019, when that was the Hawaii Kinui, we train 3 months.
3 months.
3 months.
Mm.
But wow, I was like, normally the objective was to be on the top 20,
Mm-hmm.
but we finish 9
9.
on the top
Nice.
10. Hey, everybody happy, and me too, because I don't have champ on my canoe,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's the privilege for me.
And that's it. Like it doesn't have to take too long to get good results if you can work together as a team, but even as an individual. I always say it doesn't, once you just make the decision to put the effort in and the time and really focus on good feeling with the water, your connection with the canoe, and that, like, things can happen pretty quickly in the sport.
If your teams focus on the same goal and you have the same vision, easy.
Yeah. The other thing I want to ask you about is, obviously you are the most experienced paddler, having people in your team who haven't paddled before. So you took on the role as peperu, which is steersman.
Yeah, normally I don't, but we try. We try, all the team go steer, and then when I go, I'm better than them,
Yeah.
and then I stay steerman.
It
That's why.
must be the experience of the V1, but man, when I watch you steer, you're still one of the best steerers in the Hawaii Kinui, even this
I think it's similar like the V1, well, same vision, but maybe it's more harder because the paddler front of you have to, how you say, confiance.
pull you.
How you listen when I say, hey la, now go.
Yeah, kind of have to react to to you. Do you call a lot of the calls, or you still have a captain sitting in 3 or 4?
I'm the captain too.
True. Oh, nice. Well, it's good because when my experience paddling in Tahiti, a thing that I was always taught is you have your captain in the canoe who calls the changes and the pushes, but the captain has to be really connected to the steersman. Like they have to see the same thing. So like if you're calling the pushes and then go push for this wave, look, spotting a wave on your right, but then the steersman takes you to the left, then you're gonna, things are gonna be out of whack. You're gonna miss. So I guess the benefit of you being the caller and the peperu, then the canoe's gonna go in the right direction.
I think it's my vision. That's maybe the most important on the V6 too. How to take the wave.
Yeah. And it's best seat 3, seat 4, and even better seat 6, because the further back you are on the wave, the more you see the vision. When you're at seat 1, you can't really see anything.
Everybody, when they say me in Tahiti, when I was there, hey, you are too big. Why you go there on the back?
Yeah.
And then when they say me on the Hawaii Kinui,
Are
you good?
It's good it's good because it's changing the game. And
normally they put the weight in the front of the canoe.
Yeah.
And then one of the coach from Huahine, when he interview him, he say, on the boat, where you put the motor, on the back.
Yeah, true.
It's the same vision.
That's true. You put the motor on the back of the boat, not at the front of the boat. That's a good one, because Oh, what was I going to say? Yeah, because it's not like your paddlers are light. Oh, they're not heavy paddlers too. Yeah?
No,
They're quite light paddlers,
I'm
being
the
soccer
most
players. Yeah,
heavy.
so it's pretty cool to see. What's your objective for this year?
For this year.
Yeah.
I want to come back on the top. But my first objective is start training hard first, and then I will see after.
Yeah. Who has been your biggest inspiration, your biggest idol in the sport?
My dad first, because he was a champ before, and then I have many, bro. Lewis too, Lewis Logelin, and then Manutia Owen. He bring the sport on the high level too.
Yeah.
He's the first, I think. He's the first show of the world how to surf the V1, and then Steve coming, and then me.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, maybe my father Lewis and Manutia Owen.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, those are my idols too. Even with Manutia Owen, I almost refer to him as the Tony Hawk of paddling, because Tony Hawk wasn't a very strong skater.
Yeah.
He said, like, he couldn't really do the
Style.
same moves and stuff. So he invented the ollie,
Yeah.
like the ollie. And so a little bit like Manutia Owen, he said he wasn't the biggest and strongest paddler paddling island to island. So he learned how to surf waves and use the waves to his advantage, because he wasn't.
He's the
big
first
and
smart paddler, I think.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
He
One, I
used-
think,
He used
Tahiti
everything.
2010,
Yeah.
2010, when he's just paddling with feeling. He like doesn't even look like he's pushing hard, just and catching all the waves. And then almost polar opposite, you have Bruno Tohiro, who's strong and hammer and cardio through the roof, just push. So two different types of things. But Lewis Logelin was, one of the biggest, legends in the sport of va'a. Won the Te Aito 10 times, Super Aito
11 times.
11 times, Super Aito.
No, 12 times and
10,
Super
9,
8
10.
11 times.
Yeah. Do you have any stories about Lewis?
He's the champ. He won the Molokai surf ski too.
True.
Molokai, he won the Hawaii Kinui with the team 8-8.
Mm-hmm.
And then he won the Molokai Hawaii too. V6.
I heard a while ago that
And he's a world champ of the surf ski too, long distance.
True. I heard a long time ago someone tell me that Lewis is almost the reason why people in Tahiti train the way they do.
Yeah.
Early morning,
Yeah.
afternoon, lunchtime, because I think even he said so himself. He would wake up early and he'd be going out, he would paddle and he'd just be finishing, and then all his competition were just waking up, going out to paddle, and he's already done 2-3 hours on the water, and then he would go back and do the same in the afternoon. And he said he didn't have a lot of, like his family wasn't.
He's the first
First to do
paddler to
like
do
that.
training hard, very hard, 3 times a day. And then I think now all the paddlers from Tahiti, I think here too, they wake up early in the morning to go on the water to training.
And then coming
That's
back,
the secret, I think.
coming back to your dad, he was also champion, and he was in some champion teams too, and he was also a peperu as well.
Yeah.
Stera. There's that infamous video, if you haven't seen it, of Team Pire, yeah? No,
Yeah,
Pire.
Pire
Mobile?
Mobile.
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 So was Mobile the first?
No, Pierre
Before-
Mobile. The first team he won the Hawaii Kinui. He was with Ferreira,
Mm.
a team from Huahine,
Yeah.
and then he paddled for Shell Atu,
Mm.
but he didn't win the Hawaii Kinui. And with Pierre Mobile, yeah, he won 3 times the Hawaii Kinui.
Wow. And other paddlers in there, Wilfred
Wilfred,
Amin, a lot of champions in that
a lot.
team.
They are coach now.
Yeah, all coaches the big teams. Final question is, what would be your advice to, I want to say more to younger paddlers who maybe want to become champions, but also paddlers who may have started late too, you know, they may have only picked up paddling now. What's your advice to them?
That's a good question.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to be champion, but you have first to like what you do. You have to like your sport, to like how you sufri. How you say? Oi. Preocupa, kete, man. Então,
I know what you mean.
to like suffer,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. You have to like suffer because the our sport, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. You have to train hard to suffer, and then yeah, and then love what you do.
Mm.
If
Mhm.
you, for the young paddler, when you go on the VAR or on the water, you go for learn first.
Mhm.
Me, I'm still learning when
Mm.
I'm go on the canoe.
Mm.
You go for learn, and then you have to watch everything. You have to watch the sea. You have to watch the condition.
Mhm. Mm.
Yeah.
I think I remember you telling me years ago, don't just go paddle to paddle,
Yeah.
like have a purpose, you know, have an objective when you go out there to train, get a
Mhm.
little bit better at, you know, handling the balms, or, you know, really try, you know, catching little waves, and even particular courses, what the current's doing, like those little things you've got to like learn from it, you know. Oh, why did my canoe
Yeah.
throw me like this?
Mm.
Learn and lock it in. I
Yeah.
think that's the most important thing. And I always say like someone like Kevin is like, I would probably say you don't always get to train as hard as you did back in the day. We'll say with Shalva'a and all of that. Like, it is a little bit more difficult, but like over time you've locked the knowledge
Yeah.
in, and when you do paddle, it's more like quality now,
Yeah.
rather than quantity.
Mm.
But for me, for advice for paddlers out there, like the quality does come with a bit of quantity. So my advice is get out on the water as much as possible. You know, start with where you're comfortable, and then I remember 2013 was the year that I started training hard, and I remember getting out, and I was at university at the time in Hamilton, and I was like, I'm gonna go and do a long paddle. And I remember paddling out, and only paddling for 15 to 20 minutes before I was like, had a sore butt, I was tired, and I was like, okay, that's enough. Turned around and went home. The next day or 2 days later, when I came out for another paddle, I would just add 5 minutes or 10 minutes on to that, and then, you know, did that day after day. Then I started adding more days, you know, so slowly over the week. So you're kind of getting used to paddling 5-6 days a week, and then from there, everything kind of starts to fall into place. Like time on the water, you don't necessarily have to worry about, you know, should I do sprints, should I do like whatever. Just time on the water, connection with the water, learn your craft, learn your paddle, and pretty much everything else kind of fell into place, really. 2013 was that first time that I seen the way that the Tahitians train. They're just out there every morning, afternoon, just paddling with friends, but also, you know, having a bit of like races, and they push the level up kind of together. So yeah, that's there's no real secret, eh? Kind of no secret, just
training.
Time on the water.
Yeah, time. More you have time on the water, more is beneficial for you.
Yeah, like I always say.
Don't go just for paddle.
Yeah.
Go for learn.
Yeah.
Go for hey, it's better when I sit in the front of the seat. It's not
Yeah.
when I sit on the back. It's better when I keep my paddle more higher. Or every day, yeah. Oh, this condition is good when I keep my paddle more lower.
Yeah. Cool.
It's small, but on the long, on the long race, yeah, bro, can make
big difference.
Big difference.
Awesome. Oh well. Thank you, ngā mihi nui, Kevin. Thank you
for my English.
Your English is good. It's good. It sounds like it's more like masterful when it's coming from you. So, yeah, thank you, Kevin, for your time. I have no doubt that a lot of people
happy to share you the passion of the war.
Yeah. If you want to get a taste of a training plan from Kevin, there is a training plan available. We might have to work on getting a longer than 4-week plan for your supporters out there. Okay. But yeah, thank you for your time. I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate some inside knowledge on you and Va'a, and
Maruru.
Hey, all the best again for this year. Te aito, Waikinui, I'm coming. Thanks, bro.
Sharp, brothers. That's really good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hopefully we didn't go